All right, there we go. So, hi everybody. My name is Eric Curts, and I'll be your presenter today for this session on fantastic feedback tools with Google Docs. Thank you so very much for taking the time out of your Saturday to join me here. Looking so forward to learning with you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and go through a presentation with you. So this may be the last time you actually see my face in the session. So I just wanted to say howdy and looking forward to learning with you here as we get started right now. So let me go ahead and share my screen and we will get started. All right, fantastic. So again, this session is part of Google's Education on Air, and this one is titled Fantastic Feedback Tools for Google Docs. All of the resources for this particular session can be found at controlaltachieve.com/docsfeedback. This is a short session with a lot of material, and so I want to make sure you've got all of the resources that you will need. And so if you visit that site now or later, you'll have all of the specific details on this session. So howdy again, my name is Eric. I'm a technology integration specialist up in Northeast Ohio. I'm also a Google certified trainer and innovator and help run the Google Educator Group of Ohio. I also run a website called controlaltachieve.com. That's where I blog. Please, when you get a chance, visit that site. Got lots of great resources there. I try to blog several times a week, include a page with lots and lots of resources, as well as a webinars page where I put all of my webinar trainings on there as well. So that website, controlaltachieve.com, would encourage you to visit that when you get a chance later on. Today, though, what we're going to be talking about in this session is feedback tools for Google Docs. So here's the idea. Let's say that as most of us are teachers, I was a middle school math teacher for many years before moving into the position as a technology integration specialist, as I am now. And I remember taking home stacks of papers at night and sitting on the couch in front of the TV with a red pen and going through and grading papers and providing feedback, putting information on the students' documents. And then next day, going back to school, giving those documents back to the students. Well, a lot of things have shifted now. We've embraced Google Apps, or G Suite for education, and we're using Google Classroom and Google Documents, and we're going digital. Well, the one thing we don't want to do, though, is we don't want to lose the personal touch. We don't want to have technology be a gap between us and students. We want to make sure that we're still providing good feedback for our students so that they can take what we give them and improve their writing or improve their work, and then turn it back into us with the improvements. And so what we're going to be looking at here today are some technology tools to help you as an educator, or really anybody, to provide better feedback inside of the Google Docs ecosystem. And we're going to be looking at 4 different ways of doing that. We're going to look at text feedback, voice feedback, video feedback, and handwritten feedback, and all of these being done digitally. Now, again, this is a pretty quick session. I actually did an hour-long version of this session several months ago, and that, as well as all of the additional details for this session, all of the step-by-step directions, and all the links to the stuff I'm going to be sharing with you can be found at controlaltachieve.com/docsfeedback. A lot of the stuff I'm just going to demonstrate. That goes into a lot more details on how to actually install all the different tools we're going to be taking a look at here today. Now, what do you need to be successful in this session today? Well, you're going to need a Google Apps or a Gmail account. You're going to need access to Google Docs. You're going to need the ability to install stuff. We're going to be looking at some add-ons and extensions. And you're also going to need the ability to run Android or iOS mobile apps, because we're going to be looking at some of these tools here today. As long as you've got those things, then you'll be able to do all of the different things that we're showing you here today. All right, let's get started. So the very first type of feedback we're going to talk about is text feedback. Like I said, we're going to do text feedback, voice feedback, video feedback, and handwritten feedback. All right, now to demonstrate this for you today, what I've done is ahead of time, I set up a Google Classroom, and in there I created an assignment called the Famous Person Report, and I assigned that out to a pretend student, and that student has completed that assignment and they have submitted it to me, and so there it is. This is their, they chose George Washington, and this is their George Washington report. And so I'm going to be using this document throughout the session here today as I show you different ways to provide feedback. So the first type of feedback that we said we're going to look at is just plain old simple text feedback, something we're all probably pretty used to. And if you're doing this in Google Docs, the traditional way to do this is simply by adding a comment. Now, this may be something you're pretty familiar with, but we may talk about a couple other little tips and tricks that you have not seen yet with adding comments, so just hang tight. So basically the idea is this: if you have a Google document, you can highlight anything in the Google document and a little button will pop up over here on the side where you can click to add a comment. If you want, you can also put a plus sign followed by the email address of the person that you're giving the comment to inside of the comment, and it will actually notify them. That's a nice way to make sure, because if you add a comment to a document, somebody might not realize that you've added that in there. So by putting a plus sign followed by their email address, it actually sends them an email notification. We'll also take a quick look at a neat way to dictate the comment to the student using voice typing. So let's go ahead and try this out. So here's our famous person report. And let's say I want to come in and leave some feedback for my student here. So I'm just going to go ahead and highlight a piece of text. And once I highlight that, you see I get this pop-up over here on the side. That's the add comment button. If I give a click there, I'll just be using some just testing things here today. Obviously, you should put in much better comments than that when you actually do leave comments. I'll just be doing this as an example. But I can simply just type in something like just testing, go ahead and click the comment button. And now it is leaving that comment over here in the margin for the student. So later on, when I return this document graded to the student, they'll be able to open up the document, and as they go down through it, they can click and see the different comments I left for them. Now, as I mentioned, I can also come in here, highlight some text, go to add a comment, and if I want to notify the student and make sure they're aware that I've left the comment, I can put in a plus followed by the student's email address. And now when I press that comment button, it's actually going to send them an email notification to let them know I've left that comment. Additionally, there's a new feature that just came out a few months ago where you can assign this comment to the student as a task that they have to actually click done on to say that they have completed it. So I can additionally make it an assigned action task for that student. And there we go. Now, the last thing I'm going to say with text comments is you can also, believe it or not, dictate your text comments to your students. So if you don't want to click here and actually type in the comment, what you can do is highlight the text and then go up to the tools menu in your toolbar and choose voice typing. Now, if you've never used voice typing, it's an amazing tool that basically allows you to click the little microphone button and just talk. And anything you say, Google will type into your document for you. It's a great way for you, for students, for anybody to dictate into a Google document rather than typing. Well, it also works for comments. The thing is, though, you have to make sure that when you do that, you say the word insert and then comment and then follow it by your comment, like you're giving a command to the voice typing. So you have to say insert comment and then the comment you want to say. So let's try this out. I've got this text highlighted. Let's give it a shot here. Insert comment, just testing. And there we go. Simple as that. It put in the just testing comment and it followed my instruction. All right. So that is one option for adding feedback for students, and that's just text feedback. But let's take this up a notch to something a little bit more exciting than just text feedback, and let's go with voice feedback. So how about that? Yes, you as a teacher can record your voice and add your recorded voice right to the student's Google document. Now, how do you do that? Well, there's probably a lot of ways you can do these sort of things. My suggestion for you, my opinion, is I think the easiest way to accomplish this is by using the Read and Write for Google Chrome web extension. Now, I am not going to go through the process today of installing it. I've already got it pre-installed. Please refer back to controlaltachieve.com/docsfeedback. That website has much more details on how to install the extension as well as the links to install it. Now, this extension is free for teachers, so once you've installed it, at some point you are going to want to follow the link to register as a teacher. That also is on the website that I've got linked down below, and that will allow you to use it at no cost whatsoever. Now, how does it work? Well, basically, here's the idea. What you're going to do is we're going to select some text. Then we're going to click the Read and Write toolbar, and when it pops down, we're going to use a tool called Voice Note. It's this one on the far end here, Voice Note. And what it's going to do is it's going to pop up a little screen where we can hit a microphone, and we can record up to a minute at a time, and then we can click insert, and what it will do is it will literally drop that in as a comment on the side, a playable comment. The student then, when he gets the document back, when he or she gets it back, can click the play button and listen to those pre-recorded comments. And they do not need Read and Write for Google installed. They can just go ahead and play that back. So let's try that out now. So here I am back in my George Washington document, and let's go ahead and we will highlight some text here. And this time, instead of using the normal insert comment button, we're going to come up here to the Read and Write for Google toolbar. So go ahead and give a click on that. And when that drops down, you see all of my wonderful toolbar buttons. You could do an entire session just on all of the amazing things in the Read and Write for Google toolbar. In this case, though, we're going to focus on this button right here, the voice note button. I'm going to give it a click. And like I said, here's that pop-up that shows the spot to record your message. So let's try that out. Testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. And then there's the insert button over here. Give a click on that. And what it's going to do is take whatever I just said and make a recording out of it. And now over here on the side, it looks just like these comments, but instead it's a comment with a link in it. And that link is a link to the recorded audio. So now when I return this document back to the student, and again, they don't have to have Read and Write installed. That's free. Now they can. It's a wonderful tool for students as well. Oh my goodness, there's so many awesome things it does, but they don't have to have it installed. As long as you've got it installed, it'll record and put that link in there. So now when the student comes back to the document, they can simply come here, give a click on this recorded audio, and it's going to open this up over here. And I'm good for you to hear it. I'm going to have to move my headphones over to the microphone. Give me just a second. I'll play it for you. Testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. Hopefully you were able to hear that well enough. And as simple as that, you can now add your own personal feedback instead of just text, which text is wonderful, nothing wrong with text at all, but you can also simply talk to the student. Now, it does only record a minute at a time, but you can simply go down through this and just keep highlighting more things, come back up, hit the voice note button, and just record again and again up to a minute at a time each time you do that. And so that will provide you with voice feedback. Let's keep going. What's next on our list? The next thing we're going to take a look at is video feedback. So now what we're talking about doing is pulling up your student's document and then recording yourself talking and scrolling down through their document, highlighting things, pointing things out to them, basically walking them through your feedback process so the students can hear your feedback, but they can also watch as you highlight things and indicate things in the document you want them to work on. So what's the best tool for this one? Well, again, guys, I'm sure there's a bunch of ways you could do this. My suggestion is Screencastify. Screencastify is a free Chrome web extension. And what it does is it allows you to record your screen and your webcam and your voice. Now, you don't have to record all those. You can just do the screen. You don't have to include your webcam, or you can just do your webcam. You don't have to do the screen. It's really up to you. And you can record up to 10 minutes at a time for free. Now, again, if you need more than 10 minutes, just do it twice, and you can do as many times as you want to. Now, one of the beautiful things about Screencastify is anything you record with it, it saves it automatically to your Google Drive. So once it's been saved, you can just go ahead and grab that Google Drive link and then provide that to the student, and I'll show you how you could do that. Your student could then open up their document, and they would be able to play back a video of you providing feedback to them. So to use Screencastify, you do have to install it. Again, the link directly to that you can find at my website, controlaltachieve.com/docsfeedback. That'll take you right there to the article that has all of those links in it. So you do need to install it ahead of time. I have already installed it. It's up here in my top toolbar. Looks like a little film strip icon up there. And the way it's going to work here is basically we're going to click on it, and then we're going to be able to choose if we want to record just the tab, or our entire desktop, or just our webcam. And we can pick our microphone and pick our webcam and so forth. And then basically we'll click Start Recording. And when it's all done, we'll then hit the stop button, and we'll be able to see our recorded video. It'll get saved automatically to our Google Drive. We can grab the link to give that video to the student. So let's try it out. Let's head over to our document again. And so this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll to the top of the document as if I'm going to now go through and explain to my student how they did, what they need to improve, all the great things they did in the document. And so I'm going to head up to the Screencastify extension, which is in the very top right-hand corner. Give that a click. And from the drop down there, you'll see I can record either just the tab, which is just this part of the screen, just where the Google Doc is, or the entire desktop. If I do that, it'll grab everything, including the other tabs and anything else I pull up. And I can also just record my webcam. Well, what I'm going to do for this example is just record the tab, because I'm just trying to give feedback to the student just on this particular document. Now, it's already found my microphone. That's great. And I've chosen to embed my webcam. You don't have to if you don't want to show yourself, but if you don't mind, you can embed your webcam, and you can even choose which corner you want to put it in. I'll put it up in the top right-hand corner. And that should be it. Let's go ahead and click Record tab, and we'll get started. Now it's counting down. There we go. And so now, hey, there I am. Oh, I forgot you would see me again. Hi, guys. There I am again. And so at this point, basically, you can start talking to the student. And as you do, you can scroll down through the document, and you can click on things, and you can highlight things. You can say, hey, you did a great job here, or here's something that I need you to do a little bit more information on, or watch your subject-verb agreement here, whatever you might need to do. Now, there are some pretty cool little tools down in the bottom left-hand corner, too, including a button here that kind of does like a spotlight, so it darkens everything else out. Then you can highlight stuff with that one. And then there's like even a drawing tool. You can click here if you want to draw right there on your document to highlight some things. The point being, after you do all of that, let me get back to my pointer there. When you're all done recording, and so you've given your student all the feedback you need to give to them, you go back up to the Screencastify extension in the top right-hand corner, give that a click, and from the drop-down, you can either pause the video or you can hit end recording. So you could pause it and start it back up if you needed to take a quick break. I'm just going to hit end recording, and it's going to now play that recording. And I'll let you hear it here real quick. There I am again. And so at this point, basically, you can start talking to the student. And so there you can hear that. I'll go ahead and pause that there. And so basically now it's going to play back that video for me. Well, the beauty of this is once it's done, you'll notice up here in the top right-hand corner, it says uploaded to Google Drive. This video automatically gets saved right to your Google Drive. Now, if I want to give it a title, probably not a bad idea, so I don't lose track of it. I'll go ahead and come up to the title here, and we'll just call this Edu on Air Sample, just so I remember which one that was. And the point is, at this point, I can now grab the link to this video. So right up here in the top right, there's a spot that says copy link. I can click right on the link to this video. It will copy the link for me. And now I can head back over to my student's document, and I could simply come up here and highlight anything in the document, perhaps click on the add comment and say, here is my video feedback for you. And I could paste that link right in, click comment, and as simple as that, when I send this document back to the student will be able to open up the document, click on that link over there, and that will take them straight over to the Google Drive video, and they can play that video back with no problem at all. Now, just so you know where that's being saved in your drive, in your Google Drive, there is a folder called Screencastify that gets created. And as you can see, I've obviously got a lot of videos in there from samples I've done, but there's the one from today. There's our Edu on Air sample that we just did right now. And eventually it'll show a little preview of it. At the moment, it's still rendering it in there, but there's the video. And again, the student can simply open up their document. They don't need anything special installed whatsoever. They can just click on the link over here to the side, and that will take them right to that video. All right, good job. By the way, this is Screencastify. I know, a little off topic, but it is such an awesome tool beyond just you as a teacher using this. Now, certainly you can use it to provide feedback to your students. You can also use it to create short instructional videos for your students. But folks, this is a fantastic tool also for your students to use. This is a great way for students to do a lot of things. For example, it's a great way for students to narrate slideshows. People always wonder, how do I add my voice? How do I record my voice in a slideshow? Well, you really can't, but you could play the slideshow while using Screencastify, and students could narrate their slideshow. Or if it was a ebook they created in Google Slides, they could narrate their ebook. This is a great way for kids to do presentations. If they're nervous standing up in front of class, let them use their webcam through Screencastify and do their presentation. Or if it's for band or choir, play their instruments, sing their song, practice that. Or if it's math class, have them use Screencastify to show how they solved a math problem and talk through all the steps they used to give more authentic information. So anyway, Screencastify, way more than just for feedback. Well, folks, that brings us to our fourth and final fantastic feedback tool, and that's handwritten feedback. Now you can say, Eric, are you sure there's a way to handwrite inside of a Google Doc? Well, actually, yes, there is. And so for this one, the way it works is you have to use the Google Classroom mobile app. Okay, a lot of us know about Google Classroom. We've been using it for over 2 years now. We love Google Classroom. Many folks may know that there's a mobile app for Classroom. There's an Android version and an iOS version, and it's great. A lot of times students love using that. It's a great tool, and that's been around for 2 years as well. That's not like a new thing. What is new is that this summer, Google added a new feature to the mobile app. And so the way it works now is if you go into the Google Classroom mobile app and you find your student's document and you open it up, there's now a pencil icon that shows up in there. And you can click on that little pencil icon in the top right-hand corner and it will switch you into annotation mode. At that point, you get all these tools at the bottom. There's a pencil and a pen and a highlighter and an eraser, and you can actually pick colors and thicknesses, and you can write right on top of your student's document using your finger. And now this can be your phone or it can be a tablet. Or if you've got one of the Chromebooks that runs Android apps, that's a touchscreen Chromebook, you can run the Android app of Classroom on your Chromebook and use the touchscreen to do this as well. Now, when it's all done, what it does is it creates a second document, a PDF version of the original with all of your annotations in it. Now, I'm going to try to demonstrate this for you. Let's see if we can pull this off here today. I'm going to pull up on the screen my phone. So I'm plugging in my phone here. Give this a second and see if it pops up on the screen properly. Yay, it's coming up. That looks good. Give that a moment to open up. I use an app called Visor to do this. Fair warning, Visor does, this is the free version of Visor, so it does pop up an ad every now and then, so I can't guarantee what ad might pop up, so just be aware, there could be an ad that pops up. All right, so there's my phone. Yep, see, there you go, told you. I told you there might be an ad. All right, so there we go. So let me go into feedback tools for Google Docs, and let's go to the famous person report, and let's go ahead and pick student work, and let's go into test user 1, and let's open up his famous person report. And actually, I'll turn this sideways. It might be easier for you guys to see if I turn it sideways. Maybe, and maybe not. We'll see. All right, so there's the phone, and there's the document. Notice up here in the top right, there is the little pencil icon up there. If I click the pencil icon, it switches me into annotation mode. Now in annotation mode, I can zoom in and zoom out by pinching and zooming, and I can come down here and I can grab my pen or my marker, or I can grab my highlighter, and I can pick what color and what thickness I want. So let me go with red and thin, and now I can come in here and I can circle things. Whoops, sorry about that. It's asking me if I want to join the Wi-Fi here for a second. Hold on, let me get back into that. I'm already on the Wi-Fi, it's okay. So I'll circle things, I'll switch colors, and I'll underline something, or I'll go into highlighter mode and I will highlight some of the text. So the idea is I can simply use my finger to write right on top of the student's document. When I'm all done, there's a little save button up here in the top right-hand corner. I click save. And as simple as that, it goes ahead and creates a second document. And so in addition to the Google document, there is now a PDF with all my annotations on it. And that PDF, I'll show you. Let me pull that up over here. If I come back over to my Classroom, you'll see there's now 2 attachments. There is the original Google Doc, and then here is the PDF version, and that PDF version has all of my handwritten annotations. That's automatically shared with the student, so the student has access to that. And of course, students can use this too. This is a great way for students to handwrite on their Google documents that you push out through Classroom. Whew, all right. So we made it through all that with about 4 or 5 minutes left to spare. Now, throughout this entire time, I know you guys have been asking questions, and my colleague Anthony has been answering those in the Q&A. I will take a look and see if there's any additional questions in there that we did not get to, but I appreciate Anthony very much. He's been helping out by answering those questions. So as we start to wrap up, just a couple of key reminders here, then I'll take a look and see if there's any outstanding questions we need to get to. You can go to controlaltachieve.com/docsfeedback. There you will find all of this information. Go ahead and pull this up for you here so you can see that. Controlaltachieve/docsfeedback. If I could spell, that would help. And that will take you to the docs feedback page, where you will find a longer 1-hour version of this training. If you want to see actually installing Screencastify and installing all the apps, this takes you a little bit more detail into it, as well as the slideshow for the session. And then for each of these, option 1, text feedback, option 2, voice feedback, option 3, video feedback, and option 4, handwritten feedback, with all of the links and directions on how to do each of those things. Beyond that, I would encourage you definitely to visit the controlaltachieve.com site. Again, I have lots of resources there, including I try to do webinars. Anthony and I both do. Try to do about 1 or 2 a month. At the moment, this is the collection of my webinars on the site. I've got about 23 hours worth of webinars there. They're all freely available for you to watch to continue the learning. And if you're a Twitter user, please connect with me on Twitter as well at Eric Curts. So I'm going to take a quick look over to our questions here and see if we have any additional things. So far, looks like Anthony has been answering pretty much all of the questions. I really, really appreciate that. All right. Well, I will keep an eye on the Q&A page, and if there is something that didn't get answered, I will be sure to answer that. Otherwise, I just want to thank everybody so very much for taking time out of your Saturday to be here today. Would encourage you to, if you missed some sessions, remember these are all being recorded, so you guys have dozens and dozens of wonderful Google Education on-air sessions from educators all around the world who've taken their time today to present to you. So please make sure that come Monday, I think they're going to have everything cleaned up and ready by Monday. Come Monday, start going back and visiting some of the sessions that you might have missed today. They're all being recorded, and you can watch those over the upcoming weeks and months to continue your education. So thank you guys again so much for being here. Really appreciate it, and look forward to connecting with many of you guys in the weeks, months, and years to come. Thank you so very much.